And Halloween is just 3 days away, and we're diving into the spooky history of Washington's first incorporated town.
So in this latest installment of True Northwest, photojournalist Michael Driver is showing us the haunted past of Steilacoom.
One of my favorite places to tour ever is the small town of Steilacoom. Officially the first incorporated town in Washington Territory back from the 1850s, and it houses some of the spookiest and most charming places in the region. I'm Chris Stottinger. I own and operate Pretty Gritty Tours, and we operate tours all throughout Washington State. The thing that's so unique and wonderful about Steilacoom is that it just doesn't want to let go. And when you look at all of the homes here, they're all historic. Bear Drug and Hardware was built in 1895 and has been a staple for the community ever since. But it's also a chamber of some of the greatest ghost stories in town. One of the big ones that I've heard is that there's a ghost inside that doesn't like certain flavors. And back in the day when they had their iconic salmon sauce here, it would throw it across the room and smash the bottles. It's also been known to change the radio stations and come into the building in the middle of the night and just knock everything down. We know that in the early 1930s, somebody had wandered out of Western State Hospital, come here and asked to buy a shotgun. And the clerk put it on the counter, and then this person chambered around and took their own life inside the building. So this is the E.R. Rogers home. Now, E.R. Rogers was a wealthy merchant who settled in the area and built this mansion specifically for his wife, Catherine, who wanted it more than anything else. They moved in and were there for just about 2 years before a financial collapse wrecked his fortune and caused them to sell the home. She ends up moving back in next door, always looking out the window at the mansion that she never truly got to live in. And when she passes away, it never went back to them. There are wild stories attached to this place. I've heard about disembodied legs being dragged across the ceiling, people seeing what they believe is Catherine inside the home. This is unique because it is the site of the first territorial jail that was established here in Steilacoom. And it's had some wild episodes attached to it. The most confirmed hauntings over the years of any place in town. We're gonna go check out the Nathaniel Orr home today, built in 1857. A perfect time capsule of the region. Nathaniel Orr was one of the founding members of the town of Steilacoom. He had this built in 1857, built it himself. The house has remained so untouched over the years with the original furniture and piano and then photographs of Nathaniel and Emma. Not just the builders, but the first residents to not only live but die here. And Nathaniel and Emma had 8 children in their lifetime together, but only 3 of which lived to adulthood. And several of those children passed away from illness or other complications here inside this home. And so there's been speculation that perhaps Emma has remained to look after them and make sure that there's always someone to take care of them. There's been a lot of stories about feeling just the presence of the Orrs in it today. Very consistent. People say it feels very welcoming inside until you get to maybe about 10:30, and that's when Emma's like, all right, guys, wrap it up. And you can feel this sort of like, maybe it's time to go. Change in the atmosphere here. It doesn't matter if you believe in ghosts or not, you absolutely believe in ghost stories. And ghost stories are so important because they give a voice to the voiceless. These are cautionary tales that reaffirm the maxims that we live by. It tells us about tragedy and caution, and it reminds us that just because someone wasn't praised in a history book doesn't mean that their story's unimportant.